What up, though, junkies? Welcome to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. We got a fantastic one for you in store today. I am your host, Kenshiro, massive comic book and anime junkie. Fighting games are still a passion for all of us here at the Culture Junkies, and it's one of the reasons actually we all even became friends and kind of joined together. So we're talking about fighting games today, and we got a special guest in the building. Garrett from Grand Finals Gaming is joining us in the studio. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Hey, nice to meet you. Glad to have you here. Thank you for being here with us. We'll come back to Garrett in 1 second. To the right of me is the great Adakuji. Hey, man.
Hello, everybody. You must excuse me. My brain has fallen out of my ears, and I can't seem to remember the stuff that I should be able to remember.
And it just sticks in your craw until you can get it.
I gotta find it.
You gotta find it. I get it.
I gotta find it.
Sitting across from me in the snazzy Jin Kazama hoodie. The Dapper Man
Available for your home only on Nintendo Ultra 64.
Awesome. And also joining us from remote, we got Fallen Marvel. What's up, brother? I don't know if you can hear us now.
Doing rather okay.
Okay,
Hope
there we go.
everyone out there is doing just as fine.
A little bit of a delayed reaction, but we'll take it.
Still
And
can't hear you guys though.
Oh, what?
He can't hear us.
He can't hear us all of a sudden. Well, the captain of the ship, Adobe Girl, and her co-producer, Simon Says, will be the ones that will be solving that little problem for us. You'll be seeing Adobe Girl in the shot behind GQ all day today. So I hope she remembered to, put on wear her Sunday best. I think she'll be all right. She'll be all right. And actually, you know what? Honestly, everybody in the Culture Junkie Nation wants you to do me a big, big favor. Wish Adobe Girl happy birthday. It's her birthday tomorrow.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
Keem came in with the birthday subscription.
The birthday subscription. How about that? Appreciate that. All right. So, if this is your first time joining the Culture Junkie Nation, and actually before the show, and as we were starting, we saw a whole bunch of new members of the Culture Junkie Nation
What is he doing?
join.
He's beginning to believe.
Hey,
we wanna
thanks
thank
for
you
the
for-
subscription.
Even just
Thank you.
subscribe? All right.
Yes, we will. We want to thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us. We are going to entertain you for the next 45 minutes with our main topics of the show. And then the last 15 minutes will be turned over to you, the Culture Junkie Nation, in our Power is Yours segment, where we will talk about anything under the sun, whether you want to talk about relationship advice, movies, games, sports, doesn't matter. We'll talk about it if you ask the question. But before we get to the main part of the show, I want to explain to you how the show kind of works. On our overlay, as you can see above my head, we have 2 meters. The one on the right is our follow goal meter, which I think we've crept very much close to with all of our new followers. But if you hit the follower goal before the month is over, you will trigger our follower giveaway, where every follower that is watching the show live is eligible for a giveaway from GQ Swag Box, which is over there. I think Cube is still, missing his Metroid gun. He should have came and get it.
He needs to get a hold of his address. He won't talk.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put that back in the treasure trove because clearly he don't want it. And sitting over to the to my stage left is the extra life meter, which if you
stage left and stage right for the.
hey man, look, one of these days I will get it. I will get it. I promise
you did. You just did.
Oh, okay. So
Congratulations.
thank you very much. So if you fill up the extra life meter, we will tack on an extra 15 minutes to the show in the Power is Yours segment, complete with a little life bar that will be ticking down until it reaches 0. So without further ado, let's get to the main part of the show, and we'll be running the gamut a little bit real quick. So running the gamut is where we talk about various topics in the genre space right now. So I got 4 good topics for you. So I don't know if you guys saw the news today, but remember when Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins were supposed to be doing some Star Wars projects? Well, that's dead. According to Variety, Lucasfilm has killed all of that. There will be no more Rogue Squadron, sad face, no more Kevin Feige Star Wars, and apparently Taika Waititi is going to be doing his own thing. So actually, I'm kind of happy about that one. But also in other news, John Bernthal.
Appreciate the join and the follow.
Yes. And also in other news, if you guys didn't hear, yesterday it was confirmed that John Bernthal will be returning as the Punisher, Frank Castle, in Daredevil Born Again when that comes out next year. I'm super excited.
Wait, we got to wait till next year?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Don't interrupt my flow. Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
gosh.
Don't interrupt my flow. All right. So
Oh,
in other
boy.
news, in gaming news, in Starfield, Bethesda's epic space adventure has been delayed yet again. It was supposed to come out last November. Now it won't be coming out until September of
Just
this
play
year.
No Man's Sky.
So something like that. Something like that. And for you anime fans out there, you may be interested to know that the Anime Awards were last weekend, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners took the big prize, winning Anime of the Year.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
Interesting.
So make sure you go and check all of those things out. And if you want to talk about that or other things, bring it up, and the power is yours. But for right now, we're going to get to our main segment. So allow me to introduce to you all the Culture Junkie Nation. Garrett from Grand Finals Gaming. And Garrett started Grand Finals Gaming in 2018, even though he came from a music background where he actually did some DJing, radio hosting, and at his college he actually flipped it and started a gaming company where now Grand Finals Gaming services local tournaments and conventions with equipment and running the tournaments. He actually does weeklies down in I think it was Taylor. Yeah, down in Taylor.
Nice.
Taylor right now. So welcome to the Culture Junkie Nation. Garrett, thank you for being here on Culture Junkies Live, man. How you doing?
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So first question I got for you.
Mhm.
What made you decide to start Grand Finals Gaming in the first place? And what was the first event you ever did?
So it was me and my roommate at the time, one of my childhood friends.
Get over
we went
here!
to Combo Breaker in 2018.
Yeah.
I think it was 2018. My one of my college roommates was in the Chicago FGC, and so he was always nagging me. You should just come come to an event, I was like, fine, we'll drive down to Chicago for the weekend, check it out, see what it's all about. And then we went to Combo Breaker, and it's kind of a game changer, because as far as like him and I knew, we were the only people who were into fighting games in the state. So
What?
yeah, like I mean, we grew up in a small town, so
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
as far as we knew, we're the only people who were into Mortal Kombat in the whole state.
Oh, man.
And so that was kind of like an eye opener, like wow, like there's this is a really popular thing. And like you said, I was doing music shows at the time. And then around that same time, my business partner, who I was doing the music stuff with, we kind of had different ideas of what we wanted to do with that, and ended up, parting ways. And so it just happened to work out that I was starting up another business at the same time. And our original idea was to open up like a gaming venue. It was kind of like a big venue where there was like arcades and PCs and like consoles, and also a hangout space and a tournament room and all this stuff. And we were like, well, like if we're gonna do this, is there a market for it? Like, because like we said, we were the only ones who were into this stuff as far as we knew.
Right.
So our solution was to throw a tournament, just see if people show up, if there's other people around here that play Tekken, if there's other people around here that play Dragon Ball Fighters, that kind of stuff. And so that leads to the first event, which we called the Christmas Clash, which happened December of 2018, so right before 2019. And our thing was like, if we get two people that we don't know to show up and fight each other in the game, that'll be a success, right? Two people that we like that just show up and play Tekken, that would be a success. And so what we weren't expecting is 40 people to show up and have full brackets for the 3 games that we hosted. So we're like, okay, there clearly are people that play games around here. And so we kind of shifted to, what can we do for the next event to make it better, and and the next event after that, and after that. And so that's where the whole tournament thing came from. So we kind of put the gaming center on the back burner, and it's kind of become what it is now. Kind of started expanding a little bit more.
Okay. Cool.
That's cool. So it sounds like you guys basically just kind of, as they say, fishing a little bit through, through your line out there, and got a bunch of bites. And
Right.
so that's cool, man.
Yeah, completely unexpected. And like with the music business, it kind of took a little while, a few months even, to get people interested in showing up to our events. So that's what I was expecting with this, is it's kind of a slow burn where 5-10 people show up, and then 10-20 people show up at the next one. But it was just like a lot of people, and then more people, and then more people.
Get over here!
It was a good problem to have. We just weren't ready for that on day one, and it kind of showed. But at the same time, that gave us that much more room for improvement. especially with the prizing. We kind of messed up the prizing quite a bit for the first tournament, but
Right.
we were definitely told how to do it that day because we were cutting checks out of our personal accounts. Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
And so I think it was the person who won Dragon Ball Fighters. We like handed them their $50 check, and they're like, "What is this?" And we're like,
Check. It's a check,
Yeah,
dog.
we're like, what do you mean? What is
He
this?
said, I need cash in
I got
hand.
cash money, dog. Cash
And
money.
so we were kind of put aside, and we're like, "Hey, this is like normally how it goes," because we were only spectators at Combo Breaker and I think Yomicon that year, so we had no idea how any of it worked.
Right. Right.
And so we were kind of educated on how that works. And we're like, oh, that's gonna save us a lot of money that people pay for the pot. So just stuff like that. You just kind of learn as you go. So yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dado.
Oh, well, speaking of tournaments, we were talking prior to the show about what your favorite game, and I believe you said Mortal Kombat. Which Mortal Kombat?
In terms of favorite fighting game?
Yeah, favorite Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Favorite Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
game? Probably 2, just for this nostalgia factor.
Okay.
But I think X is a close second.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did like.
That's fair.
I think I like 9. 9 kind of brought me back.
9
for
story
sure.
mode was
Awesome.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Unbelievable.
I think the best way the story's been told ever.
Yeah.
In terms of like the
100%.
Yeah.
the first tournament or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
feel like those mentioned are easily top 3. Like
Yes.
Mortal Kombat 2, 9, and X. Like I feel like those are top 3 easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's always fun to bring those games back too. We've hosted MK9 a few times. One event we did was all Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
games.
Really? Like even the first
Okay.
one?
Yeah, so what we did is we rented out a movie theater when the movie came out
Mhm.
for that opening day,
Oh.
and one of the auditoriums we just filled with like monitors and consoles.
Mhm.
Like I think it was like MK2 Ultimate. In there, MK9 was in there, MKX and MK11. Just like one of the theaters, you could just go play a bunch of Mortal Kombat games, and then when the movie started, then the other auditorium in the theater showed the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, we definitely show Mortal Kombat some love for the most part. 11 was definitely a roller coaster in terms of hosting that. Shout out to Grand Rapids because they have the strongest Mortal Kombat 11 community.
Oh, really?
Really?
In the state. And they're still going strong with that game. Everywhere else kind of just gave up on it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with MK2 for sure for the nostalgia factor.
MK2. I do remember playing the heck out of that one. I think it was Mortal Kombat 3 where I was skipping school to go play that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was leaving. I mean, it was a good time, but a bad time. I shouldn't have been skipping school to go play Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Worth it though.
Yeah, I believe it's worth it now. I miss playing those Mortal Kombat because I played 10 story mode, but I didn't play 11. I bought it and played it.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
Yeah.
I'm an MK11 hater. I do not like that game at all.
I'm with you on
You're
that.
not the
man.
only one.
Yeah,
You're 100% not the
I
only one.
remember going to like the midnight release and like so excited because I loved MKX so much, and then I got home and me and my friend were playing it and we're like, this is not it. Like immediately we're like, this doesn't feel right. But we still played the story mode and that was cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But once we started playing
Yeah.
versus, we're like, this.
Best looking, but that game
Yeah.
had issues.
Yeah, yeah. We're like, well, let's go put MKX back in the console and play that.
Right.
Mhm.
GQ?
Yeah, from a mechanic standpoint, absolutely. MK11, the guest characters are cool. I mean, they brought in a whole bunch of interesting guest characters, which
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
has been one of Mortal Kombat's strong suits as of late, or at least in the modern era. But speaking of modern era, because I mean, we were talking out there earlier. You're a Tekken fan.
Correct. Yeah.
Which of the Tekkens was your favorite, and what's your expectations for Tekken 8?
So I'm gonna have to go with Tekken 5 DR as my favorite. Like I was talking about out there, is I'm a big fan of the old Tekkens, but at the same time I'll still play some of the new ones. So I think that's like the perfect middle ground where it feels like a mixture of the two. There's still a lot of moves that are in the new ones that were new moves at the time, and there's still stuff from the old games that feels like the old games in terms of like the juggle system. There's not crazy long 20 hit combos or anything like that. but the movement is still there from the older games.
Mhm.
So I have to go with DR. In terms of Tekken 8, it's still really, really hard to tell. That we don't have really enough footage out there. I know they're talking about how it's going to be like hyper aggressive, and they got the heat system with the dash and the combo extenders, but I haven't seen or heard enough to really make a judgment on it. And I don't think really anybody has yet.
No,
Let's hope it's not Tekken 4.
No,
It
wow.
definitely does not look like Tekken 4.
I mean, those guns, what the heck was the deal with that, though?
Yeah,
I
everyone's
think-
got like weapon.
I think that's a combo
versions.
ender for Nina, but I think, and again, to your point, there's not enough footage out there, but I think even the fact that their goal is to make it hyper aggressive, it's like, hold on, Tekken is Tekken. Tekken doesn't have to be
Right.
hyper aggressive. Now, granted, Tekken 7, they threw Akuma in there, they threw Geese in there, and they have their 2D, kind of fundamentals, which makes them very OP in that game.
Yeah.
But I think trying to force Tekken into becoming hyper aggressive, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have to see. Like you said, we have to, wait and see.
Right.
But
And that's the thing with that I've been saying is like the most hype moments that we've had in Tekken 7 competitive play in tournaments is where people are, dashing in, dashing out, dashing in. Like who's gonna attack first? They're both in rage.
It's a
10
chess-
seconds left. Who's gonna do this?
it's a chess match.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I just hope that element is still there in some way or another.
Right.
Instead of just this person's attacking and this person's attacking and this person, like it's just like okay, I guess, but
That's one of the things I noticed. Just my observation, being removed from Tekken since I haven't played it extensively since really Tekken Tag came out, is that it's like if you are hit first, you're probably gonna get half of your meter taken right away.
yeah.
And it's just like, especially with people that don't drop combos, especially if you on a stage that has a wall or something like that.
Yeah.
Just be prepared to just be gone. And I was just like,
Yeah, rounds go
Right.
quick.
yeah,
Rounds
Right.
definitely
I
go
was just
quick.
like,
So yeah, it does seem like they're increasing that a little bit too of
Right.
damage and combo potential and just kind of turning it into a combo game, which it really hadn't been until like Tekken 6 pretty much, where they
Yeah.
added the bounce system.
yeah.
Before that, it was like you got 3 or 4 hits, that was your combo.
That's I
Um,
kind of like that. I think that's me
Yeah.
being old school because
Right.
like you knew how to
Right.
drag it out a little bit. I was a Paul. Paul was my main in Tekken 3,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you kind of knew how to drag it out if you were catching people at the right
Right.
time. But you
Yeah.
can't really do that with Paul anymore. At least
No.
I personally
Yeah.
don't see that. so.
Yeah, no, that's why I like the older Tekkens too. Is it's harder to do cool stuff, but when you do it, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. I think Fallen wants to jump in there real quick.
Oh no, I was just saying that like with Paul, like I think like where Paul kind of had had a somewhat smoother play style in the older games, like just after so long he just became a heavy. It is just like and like it's nothing wrong with that, but I know for me personally, I feel like my play style, like me playing the game, like I feel like my excitement for it kind of peaked at Tekken 3.
Yeah.
So So like I've enjoyed the other ones after that. Like I'm actually one of the ones that didn't hate Tekken 4. So I was actually surprised when I heard people didn't like that one. But
not hate,
you
just
know.
disappointed.
Whatever the case may be, it is what it is. But it's just like 2 and 3 are like the main ones I always go to. Especially 2 because that was like the first one I got introduced to. So, but 3 was where like it peaked for me.
Yeah, and we've hosted that before, and it's gone off very well. We had like 25 people there playing Tekken 3 in
I
2022.
want to see that.
Like
that.
that-
with my own eyeball. I need to see that again.
That was intense. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun to be able to do that. So they're like people still like playing the old stuff. We'll host Tekken 5 sometimes.
yeah.
We'll host Tag 2 sometimes. Like that's something that's good about the Michigan community is it's very Tekken oriented. At least for me, it's a good thing. And so people will play any of the games, which is awesome.
So you're telling me there's no love for Virtua Fighter because though I like Tekken,
Oh.
Virtua Fighter,
Oh,
Virtua Fighter is
I
really what
love
pulled
Virtua
me in.
Fighter.
'cause
That's my jam.
Yeah,
man.
when I remember there was an arcade, I think it was called Smitty's.
Oh
And
yeah,
it-
Smitty's.
Yeah, it used to be not Roscoe's because
No.
Roscoe's was downtown. Smitty's
Right.
was off of Telegraph,
Yeah.
right? And I remember going there and Tekken, they had Tekken 1 was out and Virtua Fighter 1 was there, but Virtua Fighter 2 I think it just came out. And I'm playing my everybody's on Tekken.
Like in America, that was Virtual Fighter's heyday.
Yeah, and
There's
I was
two.
playing on Virtua Fighter,
Right.
and like, of course, there was not anybody playing. Everybody was playing because
Right.
everybody was addicted to Law, and Law being able to do the friggin' his easy throw, which was now is a what you call a command throw, whatever. Not really a throw, but when he runs up the body and slams over there.
Yeah.
That was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that was so freaking cool, and that like
Talking about back in Tekken.
yeah, back
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Tekken.
yeah.
So I don't know. It just like when it comes, Pole Virtua Fighter versus Tekken.
There we go.
I'll have to have someone, one of the mods, create that. But I'm gonna throw it real quick to some of the pictures here that we got that Garrett shared with us. I think this is him down at Replay Cafe,
Yep,
right?
that was during Oktoberfest. I think we had a some like professional photographer was just hanging out there and was like, "Can I take some pictures?" So there were some pretty good pictures that were taken there, and that's like no one ever takes pictures of me doing my thing. So I was like, "This is interesting."
Hey
to
man,
see
it's a
from-
thankless job, right?
Oh, it is 100%
100% a thankless job. So this one is one of your events. What is this in? Is this one of the ones in Ipsy or something?
No,
like
so this is in Ann Arbor. So we used to throw our music events here, our raves and such.
that? Oh man,
there.
you do raves too?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So that is at Club Above in downtown Ann Arbor, and so when we were getting started with the gaming stuff, that was I got a hold of them because I had the connections. I was like, "Have you guys ever done like a gaming event there?" And they said no, and I was like, I would love to give it a shot there. And the cool part about hosting in a nightclub is the sound system. So I was familiar with, how the sound worked and all that stuff. So we were blasting in there for every single event. So that's where we hosted for about a year and a half, 2 years or so. And we got a lot of complaints from people of how loud it was, but
I bet.
What do you
Yeah,
do?
here's Replay again.
Yep, Replay again. That was during the Uncle Cap's circuit, the first circuit finals, the top 8 there, back at Replay Cafe before they even had all the stuff on stage. It looks like that's an old picture.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you actually is, we talk about Replay Cafe a little bit, and we know that Replay unfortunately had to close their doors. When you see something like that, do you view that almost like as a cautionary tale? Because you brought up how you wanted to do the whole venue thing, and I think even us as a group have thought about that as well.
Yeah.
What do you think of when you see something like that happen?
It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It's something like that has to be bringing in money nonstop, and it's hard. There's a lot of gamers out there, but how many gamers really want to leave their couch and play? And that's unfortunate. And that's like the best part about doing fighting game stuff is those are best enjoyed sitting next to somebody playing.
100%.
That's where the benefit comes for us. But if we were to host like Call of Duty or something like that, like offline, then I don't think it would work the same. And that's a good chunk of gamers are playing that or Overwatch or Valorant and stuff like that. The eSports kind of side of things. So yeah, I'm glad we didn't pursue the gaming venue. It's definitely still in the back pocket, but we'd have to bring something very unique, and I'm thinking like a barcade, a barcade that hosts tournaments from time to time, kind of thing. Something where there's other ways to make money from just
it
gaming.
can't just be straight up a gaming venue.
Right. You gotta have
It's
food,
gotta be
gotta
more.
have drinks,
Yeah.
something like that.
I have
we
it
have
in my
ideas.
brain.
We have ideas.
Stuff in my brain.
Yeah, 100%.
Universe
And
is bringing stuff together, man.
That's why
Yeah.
people were saying they miss the replay,
Yep.
but mostly why they missed the Club Above so much is because they had a kitchen there and they had a bar there, so it was a cool place to hang out all day because you could drink and eat and hang out.
You feel like you were with your peoples,
right? Exactly.
So I get it.
It was a bar night, plus you got to play some fighting games.
Right, 100%. That's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, so that's a huge benefit.
So let's pivot a little bit, guys, to esports. So we know.
One last question. I know you wanted to pivot, but you said hold this question for the show. You said it.
I did, but I feel like you can ask it later. But please go ahead.
I mean,
since
it's getting
you
out
interjected.
there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Try it. I mean, okay. So we all know that fighting games are fun. Not all fighting games are created equal, and there have been many of fighting games out there that aren't so well received at all. Now, my question really is, do you think, first off, would you ever run a tournament that is just bad fighting games? Like you throwing out Masters of Terrace Kasai, you're throwing out friggin' Time Killers, you're throwing out like what people would call garbage, do you think that would draw people into wanting to see who's the best at the worst fighting game?
I think it would to an extent. I don't think an entire tournament of just that stuff would go well. But we have hosted oddball games, and we have like every one of our monthlies we try to have an oddball or a retro game or something like that. And we've gotten some ideas for some stupid games to host.
Eternal Champions.
Something like that. Or I've been wanting to do those those Godzilla games from PS2, like those Arena Fighter
man,
Godzilla
I used to
games.
love those.
See?
I used to love those.
Like that's been on the radar to do for some time. So absolutely. Like I said, not a whole tournament. We'd have to have like the staples there to bring people in. But
Shaq Fu.
If you do
the
stupid,
chat brought up Shaq Fu.
if you do stupid games like that, people will show up and play them.
Right.
And sometimes they do surprisingly well. Like we did TMNT Tournament Fighters once, and there's
Hey,
about,
that was my
I
shit
thought
back
they
in
were
the day.
bringing that one back.
Yeah.
Not bringing it back, but bringing it back as tournament. But I hear a lot of characters are kind of broken.
Yeah, there were like 10 to 15 people that showed up to play that. So
Wow.
sometimes we just try stuff out and see what sticks. Another one that was super popular we weren't expecting was Capcom vs SNK 2. Like we hosted that one and a ton of people showed up for that. Same with Third Strike. So yeah, I'm always down for hosting oddball games.
Not that
All right.
Capcom.
So now
Garbage
that
game.
he's gotten that out of his system,
Yeah.
so let's shift to esports. So the question I had, and we talked about this briefly in in the DMs a little bit. We had talked about why isn't fighting games, why aren't fighting games more prominent in the esports space?
I think people think they're difficult to play and they're difficult to get into. People see fighting games like, I don't want to learn, 100 hit combos and, all this stuff versus, people are more, I guess, akin to stuff that includes like how first person shooters work. You run, you point, you shoot. And people, I don't want to say they're scared of fighting games, but kind of, and depending on the game, they kind of have a right to be a little bit, but it's really not as difficult as it seems. People will see like combos in Marvel or Dragon Ball or something like that, and they're like, I could never do that, and it's like they're just pressing one button over and over again, and then pressing another button over and over again, kind of thing. And so I think that definitely plays a factor for sure. Of there's that stigma that they're hard to play and hard to get into and hard to get good at, which is true to an extent, but not as much as people really think.
But doesn't that make it
Right.
because, and GQ, you take the baton here a little bit, don't you think that makes it, because everybody can't do it, doesn't that increase the appeal? Because it makes it more special, right?
Yeah, you would think, but in terms of the population as a whole, I think people would rather stick to what they know or what's popular or what's easier. That's just kind of how I see it, as kind of a difficulty thing from other people's perspective. Because I've tried to get so many friends into fighting games, and that's just what I hear every time is it's hard. It's too hard. I don't want to learn combos, all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
I mean, Thor Nova in the chat said that's me. Did not want to,
right. Oh, I just
doing the button mashing and everything.
I just button mash, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I like fighting games, I would just button mash. But if you spent an hour practicing a fighting game, you'd be able to get the basics down for most fighting games, if not all. So versus playing an hour of like Call of Duty or whatever, something that's no.
I can't do the FPS games. FPS games piss me off, and I get sick.
Right. I was just going to say, you leaving the big part out, but go ahead. No, go ahead.
And that plays a factor too. Someone brought up is like the whole team, a team thing versus just you. You can lose and blame the team. That's easier to do than losing a fighting game.
Really?
I honestly, yeah.
People do that though.
Yeah,
they will
for
blame
sure.
other people, even though they won't take it. For
Well,
their
so
own.
what happened to let me blame this damn joystick didn't work right, or this button is
you
sticking?
can, but it's
You know
still
what I
your
mean?
fault, I guess.
Exactly.
Versus my team sucked.
I mean that's the shit we used to hear all the time when we would play fighting games.
And damn it, I
When
did
people
the
lose-
fucking motion.
Right,
and
I
it
did the
come out.
motion. I did the
Okay.
button. Hey.
Okay, but part of that also stems from back then. Most of the consoles, it's like, PlayStation controllers, unless you were doing the bring your own stick, which of course was what a lot of people do now.
Right.
Yeah, somebody might have had a busted garbage ass controller, and you're just sitting there like, dude, your controller sucks.
You got that Mad Cats.
Yeah, so it Mad Cats and some of those. Now here's the thing. I use some of the Mad Cats arcade sticks because I like them.
Now,
Because
those are good
now.
Yeah, they're good now.
But back then, oh hell no. Back then they were
Yeah.
But
Dude.
That was the crappy friend controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, you get
Player
that
two.
one.
yeah,
Player two.
absolutely.
I mean, if you were playing with me, you didn't do that because I didn't buy third-party controllers.
same
I just
here.
Right.
Same
am
here.
not doing
Right.
it.
Yeah, but
GQ
I think
brought back-
that's go ahead, Fallon.
What did you say, Paul?
No, I said GQ brought back bad memories because I bought like Mad Cat's Dreamcast controller.
Oh,
God.
And it shorted out the game, the controller ports on my
Oh.
Dreamcast.
It
that's
shorted
terrible.
out the controller ports.
That's
Man. Oh,
Dude,
that blows.
Those first batch of Dreamcast like stuff, and plus with the third party stuff, God, it was a nightmare.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no, Madcast is solid now. Like
Yeah, their fight
Pink
sticks are
Dolphin
good.
Sword,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm kind of mad though. They suddenly, they have vanished.
They got
They're
bought
coming
by
back.
another company.
Oh, they
are
so
coming
they're
back?
not,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
okay.
they just I don't know if they released it yet, but they're planning on releasing a few fight sticks for modern consoles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I would.
Because I went and got the Hori Alpha or whatever for the PS5 because I'm like, that's the only one that's on the market. Well, Quanba, I think, has got theirs out now.
Yeah, now they do. They just
Yeah,
came out
but
with their new ones.
That
Yeah.
pisses me off so much. It's USB. Just like it should be. You should be able to use whatever USB. Plug it in there. I could take whatever stick I've had for.
They got to
whatever
make
your
money,
juice-
man.
I understand that. I remember back in the day, I wanted to start a. It was like the IKEA of fight sticks.
That's
Like
it,
literally,
yeah.
it was something that was like I was trying to do IKEA fight sticks where you buy the stuff and you assemble them
Didn't
yourself.
they have that?
Some people
Some
do.
people
though.
do it now.
No, I
yeah,
thought
there
they
is-
had that.
Yeah, there
Like,
is some
there
new
was a
modular.
Now.
Yeah,
now.
nowadays
It's not
they
even a
do.
modular
No,
thing.
he's talking
I'm
about
talking
he's talking
about-
about 10 years ago.
This
at
is
least.
Oh, okay.
more than 10 years
Yeah,
ago,
that-
dude.
that's true. That's
I
true.
freaking
Yeah.
for the Dreamcast bought a Mad Catz one. I took it apart to try to solder it, try to figure this whole thing out. I built a
you
freaking
went the extra
stand out of wood, like
Yep.
drilled all this stuff. Man, it didn't work out the way I wanted it
Yeah,
to. Like,
I mean
my-
that's how you had to do it back then.
Yeah,
though. Like,
yeah.
You couldn't go to GameStop and buy a fight stick.
No,
Right.
not a good one.
Yeah.
Like Pelican.
Exactly,
I
not a
bought
good
Pelican one. I don't know if you ever seen that one. It was
Pelican.
for
the
a
big,
PlayStation
the big one?
2.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that one.
Pelican one, yeah.
Yeah.
That one, like at the time, was probably one of the better ones you
It
can
was
get. 'cause
quality.
It was like right from the arcade
Yes.
before you
Yep.
started.
That boy was
finding these
quality.
Places. Yeah.
I had to resolder that bitch too. I remember. that. Fallen, did you have any questions before we move on to the last one? The last question.
No, I don't have one.
Okay.
I
So
think
one.
you guys pretty much covered everything.
All right. No, that's good. So one of the things I did want to ask is like we talk about esports and why fighting games aren't as popular. And maybe one aspect of it is that, unlike with like first person shooters like Overwatch or you even have Counter-Strike, think games that actually have the money.
Right.
You haven't had a company up until now
Mhm.
put the money where their mouth is. Where
Right.
Capcom now is doing a big old cash prize for the Capcom Cup. One person can win $1 million, if they win the big old tournament.
Yep.
Do you think that could possibly
I think so.
change it?
I think so. In a global scale, yes, it'll make it more attractive
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And with the new game coming out too, that gets new players.
Yeah.
Kind of, I wouldn't say a level playing field as much, but more of a level playing field than if they were to do that, say, with Street Fighter V.
Right.
So I think,
Ooh, yeah.
those two elements will probably bring in more people than normal, than that has been for the past 5 years. Whether they play other esports games or this is their introduction to esports, because I mean esports as a whole just seems to be growing more and more.
Oh, 100%.
Every year. So
Mhm.
that's definitely going to play a factor. The money, the new game, and the accessibility that they're putting on the new game too, is definitely going to
Oh yeah.
make it better. And online play is also getting better and better. So that's
Yeah.
probably going to bring more people in.
No, it's true.
When people are so used to playing arcade mode for a while and they're like, oh, I want to take it online, and that's
Right.
the connection's horrible, doesn't play the same. You can't do the combos or the moves that you're used to doing against the CPU. But yeah, I think throwing more money at it is going to attract more people for sure. Is it going to become an esport? Maybe. But I guess only time will tell. We'll know
True.
within the next few months. No.
Right. But no, because I just look at, every year, and obviously Evo's lineup just came out a few weeks back. But I just look at every year and some of the videos from the the matches at Evo, especially the Tekken 8 or Tekken 7, excuse me. At the time, you would see some really good, Dragon Ball Fighters matches, and you're just looking at in the crowd, they're selling out, stadiums now, and just the reaction of the crowd, and it's just like, why isn't this more common? Why is it just at Evo?
Right.
Like,
that's what made me fall in love with the whole thing.
Right.
Was I walked into Combo Breaker and was like, holy crap. Like, there's, 4 or 5 fighting games being played with hundreds of people watching each of them, like all at the same time. And I had no idea it existed. And since then, it's gotten nothing but bigger. Especially, Combo Breaker specifically, where they had to get a whole new venue where they had to fit thousands of more people now. And even like smaller, like regional events like Frosty Faustings had to get a new venue to fit more people. So stuff like that, it's growing bigger and bigger. And there is no feeling like being with that crowd watching a hype match happen between two pros. Like, that's unexplainable. And that's kind of something that we kind of strive for at a smaller scale, hence why we had that big sound system, and we'll still bring sound systems to other venues and have commentary happening in a big projector screen and stuff like that, is we kind of want to bring that hype and excitement to a smaller scale as much as we can. Because maybe that'll inspire new people to go to the bigger stuff and kind of see what it's like at that scale. But yeah, there's no feeling like it, and I'm hoping that more and more people get to experience that if they do get into the newer games coming out. Whether that's due to the prize pool or just general interest, that's gonna do nothing but help the FGC as a whole.
Right. Absolutely. I got one more question, but I want to make sure that I'm fair to my fellow panelists. Do you guys got anything more for Garrett before we?
I'm going to ask, piggybacking on the whole thing with esports and the money. Do you think if Capcom sees a very successful outcome from putting $2 million up, do you think somebody like another Realm Studios, who of course is backed by Warner Brothers, who clearly has more money than Capcom, do you think they might throw in some stupidly ridiculous prize? Because again, Mortal Kombat's an M-rated game, so it's a little bit tougher sell on the
esports.
Esports marketed to everybody type of thing. What do you think about that one?
I think it's entirely possible, especially NetherRealm, because they have hosted tournaments with really big prize pools before. That's nothing new to them. Not quite $2 million, but still, a hefty amount. So I think, and I hope that ArcSys, Namco, NRS, all of them see that, and they're like, okay, this is attracting more people to our game, our events, that kind of stuff. That I can only hope that more people are gonna tag along and do the same thing.
Sure.
But with this next generation of games, we don't know. There's still a lot of unknowns. There's some known stuff, and even more stuff that we don't know yet.
For sure.
Okay, Fallen, Dido.
Piggybacking on that, I like the whole idea that Capcom's putting their money into it, but it feels like when the way I look at it is like it's like fighting games. Think of it like the PGA, because everybody's like their own independent. They come to this tournament, and from my understanding, PGA is not throwing their money in there. They're getting money from all the sponsors, like how back in the day, like Buick, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Capcom should be those sponsors where they're pulling, because a Capcom Cup is just, from my understanding, is just going to be with Street Fighter and the stuff made by Capcom. And if NetherRealm does theirs, then it's just going to be Mortal Kombat and blah blah blah. But a fighting game tournament, all I think is a good thing in the right direction, and I hope that they are able to pull in not just video game sponsors, because Buick they don't exist anymore, but back in the day, what did they have to do with golf outside of it's a sport, and they're putting money down? Like they'd be able to, hey, Ford, let's get some money. Hey, what's the name of that chocolate company? I don't know. Just
Hershey's?
Sure.
Dove.
Yeah. Whatever. They're all like you going to them to be sponsors in this because whatever.
I think that has potential as well.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
the biggest brands I've seen at fighting game events have been like energy drinks, and energy
because
drinks in gaming.
Going towards gaming.
So I think if you do get bigger and bigger,
they'll just start
names,
pulling them in.
I think that definitely could happen. Because I've seen like
Nick says Cadbury chocolate.
with esports.
Sponsored by Cadbury.
With like
get the bunny. Gotta get the bunny. You gotta get the money.
Time
right?
Killer, sponsored by Cadbury
Cadbury Bunny.
Chocolates.
Oh my lord.
That would be
Honestly,
hilarious.
you never know.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was gonna say like esports stuff, has been sponsored by like McDonald's and really huge companies. So I think they
even in the chat
may get in there.
Evo and got Chipotle.
Oh, that's
'cause it's not a
right.
sponsor.
Chipotle is sponsoring you.
Nice.
Hey, that's
I
cool.
forgot about
That's
that.
nice.
Yeah.
No, that's nice.
Domino's for IG, for Injustice 2. I forgot about that as
See,
well. So
and
it is happening to a degree.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Here and
Capcom has to
there.
pull it up the 2 million to get more people in their eyes in there. I would like to see it be bigger too because I'm tired of hearing about COD. I don't even like calling it
Man,
COD.
dog, yes, this is what I'm
God.
saying.
I think
It's like
one
the
of the
fish.
I think part of the reason, I mean, obviously the big reason that the sponsors do what they do is the marketing, is getting their name out there in front of new audiences and that sort of thing. I think with Capcom, like for example, or even the game companies, their games are in the tournament.
Yeah, that's what I'm
so
saying.
that's
Yeah.
their marketing already. They
Right.
don't necessarily have to. Oh, here's another, couple million on top of it. Now, granted, I'm sure they contribute to the prize pools to an
Yeah.
extent.
I believe that
But-
so much could be pulled in.
I don't
Kraft
know.
macaroni
It
and
definitely,
cheese.
It definitely could. But I think what it is because it's a gaming tournament, the game company's already represented. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their name is already, it's
Yeah.
like it's Capcom Street Fighter. It's NRS's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's already known.
Mhm.
So I think that's part of the reason you don't get it in that PGA style of here's a sponsorship, here's, extra dollar, because
Yeah.
they're the product, basically.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of what you run into.
coming from a tennis background, that PGA analogy makes complete sense.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like, it's
Yeah.
it's just a sport,
Uh-huh.
You have to find the sponsors from that. No one made golf, a company didn't make golf, a
Yeah.
company didn't make tennis. So I totally get where you're coming from
Dude,
there.
It's just God.
So
There's so much that over the years that I've been wanting to do, and now's the time to strike.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
So I
And-
bet you thought I wasn't gonna pick up on that.
What?
You said tennis background.
Mhm.
So now you got to spill.
What?
Tennis background.
Yeah.
What is that all about? What do you mean?
I
Tennis
played tennis.
in
Through,
high school.
Yeah, through middle school, high school, and college. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And I coached for a little while as well. So
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever know a dude named Axel?
I don't.
Axel
think so.
Foley?
Okay, no, not Axel. He was the dude I know that was also really into tennis, and he played through middle school, high school, and
Yeah.
he coaches and whatnot now.
Okay.
His name is Axel.
Yeah, it's a more popular sport than people think.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, no question.
And it's
Yeah.
that's another thing that's growing
mean-
too. But
Yeah.
Oh, what was that, Fallen? Real quick.
No. I was just wondering, like, compare, like, just in general, piggybacking real quick, and it's just like compared to like the consistency of fighting games, like the past, want to say last 2 generations, because we know where it's been and we see where it is now. Where like now it really seems like fighting games are getting a new, basically, are getting new life breathed into them in a way. And Capcom definitely seems like they're in the forefront, and it's like now we're at the point where now we're seeing like a lot of lesser known games starting to get love. I mean, Breakers has a new collection out now, like, and I was surprised, like I didn't even see it coming, but like just with that, seeing that where it is now after where it's been for like the last couple of gaming generations, I mean, do you feel like at this point, like this, like they are basically like upping the standard for what they expect in fighting games at this point?
I honestly think so, and I think with the new generation coming out, them re-releasing stuff like Breakers Revenge Collection and the Capcom Fighting Collection stuff is going to open people's perspective on not only older games but older franchises as well.
Yeah, like
Um,
Rumblefish.
Like Rumblefish,
Rumble.
I guess. But yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Count on you to come up throughout the obscure games. So
Right.
Well,
like,
Breaker's
I-
kind of obscure.
I never would have thought Guilty Gear Strive would be as big as it is.
Oh yeah.
So you never know what
Yeah.
game could come up that's new and just kind of take over. Because like since we started, Tekken has been the big scene around here, and then when Guilty Gear Strive dropped, that is like neck and neck with Tekken in terms of how many people sign up, and sometimes more people sign up for Guilty Gear now. So
Yeah.
you never know, if a game drops that out of nowhere, I don't say out of nowhere, but that's new and people are gonna pick it up, and it might be the next big thing. The next they're gonna make a new Breakers game. You never know, that could be the next biggest thing.
We need to
for
make
fighting
Slap
games.
Happy Rhythm Busters next biggest
But
thing.
no. I'll tell you what needs to be the next biggest thing before we turn it over to Power Azor. Toe ball number 2 is on
Yeah,
the come
Toe
up,
ball
baby.
2. Like,
Toe ball number 2 on the come up, baby.
yes.
You know,
Definitely
that's all I
need
gotta
to
say.
freaking bring that.
Yes, toe ball needs to come back. All right, y'all. The power is yours.
Catchy.
How would you do a Cuphead tournament?
I don't know.
See, how many
ask
dice?
me-
Cuphead.
People
Hey, there
ask
goes
me
Amora
that.
right off rip. I mean, it's like he's got it in the chamber loaded. Are y'all excited for Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4 that got announced a few days ago? Can't pronounce Tenkaichi. I'm sorry. Man, we've been Dragon Ball fans longer than
I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm not gonna date myself by saying how long I've been a Dragon Ball fan, but yes. You're not looking forward to it, you said?
No, I did not care for the PlayStation 2 ones. They did not play. Okay, my whole entire life, whenever a Dragon Ball game came out, my imagination is like the anime. And they have never made one like the anime until Fighters. Fighters is like the anime, not just in look, but feel and the way it fights.
Yep.
Everything else, to me, paled in comparison. And when I have only the first one, and the other ones probably got better, 2, 3 probably better than the first one. But it was not enough for me
3
to.
is worth more money than the first one.
Oh, heck,
$400. I couldn't believe that.
I'm like,
$400.
kiss my butt.
Right. No, I hear you.
Man, I think honestly, I really feel like during that time, like I feel like Burst Limit doesn't really get enough credit for what it did. Like, granted, it was lesser known, but I think like it kind of piggybacked off of Tenkaichi a little bit, but like it kind of made it a lot more fluid in a way. But you don't really hear too many people talk about it. I don't know if people like just didn't dig it or whatever, but like I thought it was a good entry like during that time. I mean, at that point, I was just glad that we started getting US based Dragon Ball games, because up to that point, like the only one I played was Legends. If you guys remember that,
Legends was
Japanese-only
dope
game.
as hell, bro. That was like the
But-
anime. You want to talk about
Right.
games like the anime? That
And of
Legends was
course,
dope.
like, and of course,
Come on now. Come on
Only
now.
thing we got up to that point was what was it? Ultimate Battle 22, which I heard was awful.
All right.
But-
Remora says Burst Limit was an upgraded Budokai 1. Okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
For all who
Yeah,
have fun with it,
yeah,
I'm
that's
glad
fair.
that you have fun with it. Continue to play it. I've always had my thing when it came to licensed games. I was not a big fan of many licensed games because a lot of licensed games sucked. Now, there are a handful of them out there that are good. There's some X-Men ones that are good. There's some Spider-Man ones out there that are good. For you guys, you like your Dragon Ball ones, that's fine. I mean, I played the Super Nintendo Dragon Ball. I played the ones for Sega Saturn. I played the ones for PlayStation. And a lot of them were lackluster to me. And Fighters to me is like the only one that was like, okay. And who was it that mentioned that they didn't have
The Beam Clashes.
Yeah, no beam clashes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Here we
Which
go.
worse?
There's no
Which
beam
worse,
clashes.
the beam clashes or
Okay.
the torture scene from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
just
wow.
like,
Oh wow.
Hey, that's the one thing that GT did do right. That Dragon Ball GT for the PlayStation.
Final Bout?
yeah.
Yeah, Final
Yeah.
Bout. That was the one thing they got right was the beam clash. That
Yeah.
was actually probably one of the coolest things that they actually just brought back from the anime and put it into a game.
Yeah, I
As
bought
broken
Final
as that
Bout.
game was.
Yeah, I bought
but-
Final Bout imported. Like I bought it imported because I was so desperate to play it.
Yeah, I
back in the
have-
day.
Probably the only time you could find it, like at that point.
Oh no! I walked into Media Play and got the American copy of it.
Yeah.
And that thing is stupid expensive. If you actually
yeah.
have the original American
The
release.
American one? Oh yeah, 100%. A question earlier had asked, Pure F and Evil had asked, how old were you guys when the first Dragon Ball games came out? So I think we were like 18, 19 when the American ones came out
when
over
they
here.
when they first came out
Yeah.
in America. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was
think it was
late
like we were like
90s.
18, 19 or something like that. It was like late 90s.
Yeah,
But like,
when it first came out.
I was on the younger end, so I was like 14, 15
Yeah.
when it dropped. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Garrett?
mean, they are.
How old were you?
How
when
old
it
were
first
you,
came
Garrett,
out?
when it first
said I
came
don't
out?
wanna say.
No, I didn't get into any of those games, but in terms of games like that, the one I played the most was probably Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
I
obscure.
briefly.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not
That's-
obscure.
I
It's
think-
just
I think I have a copy of that upstairs that I was selling.
That's like the only thing kind of like those games that I can think of that I played, like Arena Fighter ish.
I'm trying to think. So, Rise of the Imperfects. Didn't everybody hate that game?
Yes.
It's
not good at all.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was crazy.
But
it
I
was
do
very
want to host
interesting.
it soon just to see.
Yeah,
Oh, see, it goes back to your bad fighting game.
Hey,
idea.
dude,
Here you
my
go.
honest opinion, I would love to not just bad fighting games, but just like Tobal #1 or Tobal 2. I'm telling you,
Yo, man, those are
phenomenal
those are great
3D fighting games.
Right.
Great
They're not like they have a
Pit
grapple
Fighter,
system
War
like
Gods.
oh
Yeah.
my
Oh,
god.
good.
But it has a grapple system like you've never
Yeah.
seen before.
Tobal's
and it has a great
to-
combo
yeah.
system too. I mean, it's
Tobal's
I'm surprised
combo
it's
system
not-
is great.
yeah, I'm surprised it's just not bigger than what
All right.
it is.
So Pink Dolphin is saying that they're buying 10kg 3 on Friday.
Oh wow, you throwing
For
out the big
$400?
bu- throwing out the big bucks.
Maybe they, and they also mentioned Jump Force. So
Jump
who
Force
knows?
is garbage, bro. I got that for $5, and I wish I had my $5 back.
So that we were trying to plan games for a convention last August.
Yeah.
The really cool Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to have like an anime like arena fighter, and I was like, Jump Force.
No!
Everybody was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll make a poll. You know, I'll put Jump Force on there. I'll put Ultimate Storm 4
put
on there.
any
and I'll
Naruto
put-
game you want. It's
Right.
better than Jump Force.
And I did put the Demon Slayer game on there as well. Because
That one would have been fine
that
too.
had just come out.
Yeah,
And yeah, Storm 4 blew everything else out of the water. So
of course.
And that was actually really hype. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
as like a 20-person tournament was pretty intense.
yeah.
Have you done or in the process of have done or will do
Uh-oh.
Oh, there goes Minority
Cool
with the extra life. Thank you,
beans.
sir.
Extra
Appreciate
life.
that.
We're going to get extra.
Just an
extra
anime
15
tournament.
minutes after the show. Okay.
just
Anime
like
only?
yeah,
Yes.
anime like went like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the Capcom version, and
Yes.
the new one.
Those games are
that came out.
godlike.
Mm-hmm.
This long story short, I wanted that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when it came out for PlayStation 3 first,
Yeah.
and I didn't know it was coming out of the United States. I was in Japan. That was all I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I managed to find it. I bought it, and then it says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna bring this out to the United States." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Am dying for a re-release of the Capcom version, but I know that can't happen due to rights.
Yeah, it's probably
So
not gonna.
That would
happen.
be one I would host
Yeah, it
immediately.
sucks.
Somebody,
that one on
somebody had asked
PlayStation.
just a second ago, Garrett, when are we doing X-Men Mutant Academy 2?
Oh, they know me so well. That's been on the radar for sure. I love that game way too much.
Oh, that
enough.
game.
See,
Yeah.
see, so good. My
Yeah.
my Havoc, I got the TODs.
Yeah. So someone had also asked, is anybody getting that Naruto Boruto Connections or whatever game that's getting ready to come out?
I don't.
How many
think
Naruto
so.
games
Like
are
I've
there?
Way
Probably
too
a
many.
lot.
there's
Go ahead, Paula.
like I think with the arena fighters, I think there's technically 5 in total. 5 or 6 or whatever. This might be the 6th one, but it's supposed to be like basically a amalgamation of all those games into one with like 2 extra characters or something.
That sounds
And
like that's
it's
going to be super broken.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it's one of those things to where one of the reasons why folks aren't really excited because it's like if you've played one of those arena fighters, you basically played the rest of them because they all use the same engine. So it's like you know, it's that I think that's why like it was just like that clashes whatever I think left a lot to be desired because it's like again it's like the Naruto games look the same. It's the same with the One Punch Man game, the My Hero Academia game, the Demon Slayer, like they all play the same.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's because it's like Namco Bandai, like they have the license, they can throw it out there, bam, there you go.
Okay.
Nick, that Petty asked a
Right.
question that I
He
want to
did.
answer.
That's a great one.
It is a great one.
It is a great one.
It says if you could make any property license a fighter, what what would it be and who you want to develop it? Well, first I think Arc System Works because Arc System Works
100.
they know what they're doing when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And
Yeah.
for me, I wouldn't just pick a WoW like out of the blue. That's not a fighting game. Let's turn it into a fighting game. I would want to bring back a fighting game that came out in the 16-bit era. That
You better not say what I think you're going to say.
what do you think I'm gonna say?
No, I want you to say it.
What do
I want you
think
to
I'm
say it.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
I want you to say it.
Eternal
I
Champions.
knew he was going to say that.
Made by Arc System Works. I think it would be.
No, he was going to say
I
that.
think that would be friggin' amazing because Eternal Champions, of course, is trying to play on the Mortal Kombat stuff. It had its violence in there. It had some pretty dope sprites for the Sega Genesis. If you go back and look at it, I mean, they look really good. But the fighting system was kind of
Garbage.
It
Garbage.
was
the
janky.
game was
It was
hard as
janky.
fuck too. It was very
It all
janky.
depends on your
but-
skill.
Exactly. Arc System Works Eternal Champions will be amazing, especially if you recreate not the Genesis one, but the Sega CD version with all the whatever blah blah blah. You know, I think it would be great.
Okay,
with all
so
the assets and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
somebody had made mention about how CyberConnect 2 is not a great developer. They're not, because honestly, if you think about it, right, the Naruto games, the arena fighters that they had with Naruto, they've literally been the same every year. All they typically all they do is just update the animations on the supers, but the basic premise and the rock paper scissors nature of the game does not change. And they literally ported that over with Demon Slayer, and they just made it Demon Slayer characters, but it's still the same game.
See, this is the thing. I would argue at this point is the fact that if they weren't basically doing assembly line production on the games, I think they could do something solid, because they have made some really good games before in the past. And you could argue that, like, when they first did what was it, like Ultimate Ninja or whatever, it was dope. Like the first few like Ultimate Ninjas was like had dope gameplay in it, but when those properties started getting popular, and because Namco Bandai basically hoarded all of the licensing rights, they kept spitting game after game after game after game out. And it's just like, at that point, it's like they don't even have any time to do anything different, because one of the other games that they made was Asura's Wrath. That was a great game. It sucked how they pretty much structured it, because that was during that whole like paying for the true ending era of games. But Asura's Wrath was a really unique and interesting game. But shit happens.
I mean, CyberConnect 2 seems very much like the EA Sports Madden factory, where they literally just
so
do
we've
it.
got
Go
a
ahead.
redeemed highlight my message from Sharp Steven. Question: fighting games, according to online player numbers, are now bigger than ever. How do you see the next generation of the FGC or fighting game community as they start to stack up to old school players?
Oh, what did you call that in Street Fighter 6? The
World Tour.
No.
The World Tour.
The mode that you had, not classic mode, modern.
Modern controls.
Modern controls or whatever. That's
like
what's
that.
gonna stack up. You're gonna have people that's gonna learn modern controls and not learn classic. And if it's anything like what I think it is, because I think Fighters has a 1-button combo mode.
Yep.
You're gonna have people out there doing stuff like that using one friggin' button, and people like I don't know. I think that's what's gonna end up.
Tekken 8's doing the same thing too.
Really?
Yep.
Because I know King of Fighters, was it 14? I think it was 14.
14
had
has
it as well.
Yep.
So
15 has something similar, but like I think it's like, because it's not done in a way to where like they completely dumb the gameplay down. Like you actually still have to have some type of a learning curve.
Get over here!
But it is one of those things where like they add. It's one of those things that they add in there to try to get in like new people in or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what I think that's going to end up happening. You're going to get more people that's going to get into it, and like you said, it defaulted to modern. People just going to start learning modern. They're not even going to know classic controls at all. So I think that's probably. I don't know if that answered your question, if that's what you were looking for.
What Pink Dolphin says is actually what scares me. Mash A to get an auto combo.
That's King of Fighters 15.
Yeah, I was like,
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, I can't stand
Like
that.
at most, it'll be like a 5 or 6 hit combo at most.
Oh no! If you have meter, it does a super at the end of it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's what Tekken 8's doing.
Yes, it does. And that's the kind of shit I'm worried about.
That I don't like.
That's instant, like turning that off.
No, 100%. That's literally what made me return Marvel vs. Capcom 3 back to the store.
Yeah.
When that shit happened, I was like, no, I'm done.
You got another highlight message.
I quit.
Right,
I'm done.
What's the highlighted message? Go ahead.
Tekken 83, buddy.
Okay.
Pacific Rim Fighter made by the Virtuon team.
Hey, that would be dope. I would like that.
A Pacific Rim Fighter.
You know what?
I mean,
we don't have enough kaiju fighters.
There's that new one that just came out that they just announced Godzilla DLC for. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like. It's very much I don't know, it's a lot like, I'm trying to think if it was an SNES or an arcade game, but very kind of like the old Godzilla
Oh, I
games.
do know which one you're talking about.
Darkstalkers had
Isn't it a
simple
MOBA?
controls.
Wasn't it a MOBA?
I don't recall
No,
Darkstalkers.
it's
No,
like,
it wasn't
it's
a
like
MOBA?
not really an arena fighter, but kind of.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Kaiju as kaiju.
No, I
arena
remember
fighters
exactly
you
what
can
you're talking about. I remember that.
get. And it was all original kaiju, and then they just announced that like a bunch of Godzilla.
Godzilla was
going to
be in it. Yeah. Speaking of Godzilla, when when they did that crossover with COD,
Mm-hmm.
that was actually pretty cool.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was actually pretty
interesting.
cool.
All right.
I'll give them credit for
But
that.
before we do that, we're gonna show
It's the
y'all how
extra
y'all
life.
can support us. No.
Oh.
They got to support
I
us.
just
right.
I
That's
like
true.
the. I don't recall Darkstalkers having.
All right,
Yeah, I
guys,
don't
we'll be
either.
back in about
We'll
30
be back-
seconds.
No, it's longer than 30 seconds.
All right. Okay.
The entire Culture Junkies crew would like to thank you for tuning into our programming. We hope you are enjoying our content as much as we enjoy making it. One thing that helps us continue bringing you our unique content is viewer support. By visiting the Culture Junkies Patreon page, you will have the opportunity to select the support level that works best for you. Not only will your support help keep the Culture Junkie Nation growing, but you will make yourself eligible to receive patron-exclusive swag. Please take a moment to consider supporting us and join the ranks of the supporters you see listed on the screen. We would like to also give a special shout out to our Culture Junkies level and above patrons. DeMarcus Smith, Fab Nerd Life, NanetteNet, The Other Steve, and Black Crowned Knight. Remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can support a Culture Junkie. Thank you.
So honestly, while we were ready to break, I was reading back through the messages, and one of the things somebody has said, somebody needs to make a Bleach game, like similar to the way maybe even like Dragon Ball Fighters, or maybe even like the Naruto games.
More
That would
like
actually
Soul
would be
Calibur.
pretty dope.
I think Bleach would benefit being
Bleach
more
would be
Soul
dope.
Soul Calibur-y. I know
Yeah.
that a fighter's game you could do anything
Yeah,
You know
like
what?
fighters,
But
but
you know
because
what?
it's all
A
weapon
Bleach
based.
game-
It's all
A
weapon
Bleach
based.
game developed by the Soul Team would be dope.
I think that would.
I
get
could
better.
get behind that.
I don't know.
Like, I think if they tweaked
That
it
what
a
it's called,
little bit,
Giga Bash
if-
was it? Yeah.
Like
Foot
if they
dive!
tweaked it a little bit, I really think a Bleach game with that kind of engine could work. Because it's on the simple fact that it's like Dido said, it'd be weapon based, like it'd be purely weapon based with everybody.
I don't know,
I
man.
think that would be dope.
I would like it to be like Fighters, if only because I want them, fast paced action, whipping out bankais here and there. I think that would be pretty dope.
You can make it a little
Honestly,
bit
I
more
think it would be
faster in
See,
3D
Arc
and Soul Calibur.
Systems,
Yeah,
I
Arc
think
Systems
Arc-
would do it right.
Arc Systems, I think it's just peak fighting game development in general, though. So it's like anytime you want to see like something that is crisp, it looks great, it plays great, you're always going to go back to Arc Systems and Guilty Gear, because like it kind of set that tone. It kind of set a similar like standard that Capcom did way before, except Capcom was going through its funk like when Guilty Gear started like really hitting its stride. So it's because I remember like during like I think like what is it like Guilty Gear 2 and stuff or whatever, like in the early 2000s, we were getting like Capcom Fighting Evolution and all that kind of stuff.
I
So
bought that
it's
cheap
like,
just because.
so like that was a rough patch. I'm just saying, like
It was very, because I was like, yeah, this game can't be that bad. And then I plugged it in. I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it.
So
it was pretty bad.
Brian Cannon says, would y'all consider the old Sega game called Street Smart a fighting
I
game?
mean, with Slippery Sam Santana, yeah.
Who?
Slippery Sam Santana. If I remember correctly, there's a character in that game called Slippery Sam Santana. Yeah. From Street Smart.
Is
That just had me tilted, like for real.
I
Like,
think that came out in the 80s, if I remember correctly. Slippery
Sam
Sam
Santana. That's hilarious.
Santana.
Are you out of your damn mind?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Where is he? Here it is. Yeah, Street Smarts. Slippery
my
Sam
goodness.
Santana.
Oh wait,
I'm
Street
telling
Smarts.
you.
Wait a minute.
Hold on,
Was
you
that
talking about
that
old
side-
man brain? You still remember that?
It came out.
Street Smarts was that side-scrolling, like
1989.
straight up beat 'em up, almost like
Yeah,
right.
it was a fighting game,
I
but
used
it
to
was
love
a
that
side
game.
scroller. But
I used to love that.
It was like a side scroller, but it was one-on-one.
I used to love that.
And
though.
Slippery Sam Santana.
Yeah,
Was,
I remember that game.
Well, if y'all want Dido to stream Street Smart at some point, in the
I don't know if
future,
I have
give me a
Street
hell
Smart.
yeah.
Man, please, man, come on now.
I mean,
Come
I
on,
could,
you
I could
know how to
probably
get it. Come on, now.
find it, but like,
Yeah, you know how to
I
get it.
have
Come
been
on now,
out
stop
of the
playing.
ROM game for a bit.
stop
I
playing.
know I can get ROMs, but I've
Look,
been trying to,
that's a deep cut.
legit.
I don't mind visiting.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
like
that's-
I'm
yeah,
just
you wanna
I'm
get
just
that.
saying, like that's wow.
Not Stan
Okay.
Sam. Slippery Sam Santana. You ain't You ain't slippery unless you Sam Santana. Slippery Sam.
Sometimes you're about to make a shirt out of this. You're gonna make a shirt out of this.
Sounds like an 80s action movie villain.
He is, dude. I'm telling you, it is crazy.
Hand of
And
Omega
I don't know
says,
why I remember that.
Hand of Omega says, is Smash Brothers considered a fighting game?
We're not gonna get into this.
No. I need to hear your take now, because
Okay.
you said that. So is it a fighting game or
No.
is it not?
No,
Oh, my man.
I've
my man.
never been a fan of
My
Smash.
man. Yeah. You on my
But
side. All
wait,
right.
here's
it's a
the
party game.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, once you get like 4 people in there, I've seen some really intense one-on-one Smash fights.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I still,
By traditional means, though, is it a fighting game?
No.
Not really.
No.
No.
see. Here's the thing. I think no.
We're
I
gonna be here
think
for hours if we
Oh,
try to
right.
answer
Let's
that
define
question.
a fighting game.
they paid for a little extra time, so
That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I
No,
it's not that I didn't believe you.
yeah. Here's why I think it technically is. I mean, obviously, like I said, the whole point is to beat the other person up, whatever. Granted, you are not going for true traditional knockouts. The game is all ring outs, technically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that is of course where it differs, because it's like, look, it gets you to a point where it's like you have 300%, you're getting knocked out no matter what the next hit is,
Right.
whatever. I think though, the fact that they brought so many traditional fighters into that, it's almost like they were trying to like truly like, you know what, we're going to legitimize this game as a fighter.
It's also because the guy who makes Smash Bros. Is a huge fighting game fan.
Yeah,
too,
so
he grew up on SNK games and all that stuff.
Right.
And Capcom fighters. So
Okay.
that I think plays a huge factor. But he himself has also said that Smash is not a fighting game. So.
Okay.
Well, see, that
there
puts
you
it to
go.
bed.
That
Yeah.
puts
It
it to
puts
bed.
it
And
to
that's fair.
bed.
And that's fair.
It's over.
See-
It's over.
They want to make a new Def Jam game.
That
See,
would be fun.
See-
we've hosted that before,
No.
and we had people all the way from Wisconsin come specifically
Wow.
to
For Def
play
Jam?
Def
Oh, yeah.
Jam in the tournament.
Oh, no.
Dude,
See?
Def Jam Fight for New York was one of the
Yep.
best
That's the first one or the
games.
second?
The second.
That's the
one.
second one.
That's the one that's
I say
$200
they
to
should
buy
not
right
make
now.
another one. They should not make another one, and I'll tell you why. It's
Please.
Because
The third one.
EA is freaking EA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll buy that.
Well,
EA,
Yeah.
listen, EA has not been the same since they stopped. It was since they stopped their EA Sports Big imprint. Okay, and the fact that Icon ended up being what it was.
EA Sports.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't trust EA. No.
The reaction.
No.
Just
The
don't
reaction
play.
was nice.
What's the
Well,
game with the giant
no.
monsters? Is that War of Monsters? I think for PS2.
Yeah, I bought that. I haven't played it yet though. What are we saying? Who?
it was a
TM
TMNT ripoff.
ripoff tournament fighter. Street Sharks versus Extreme Dinosaurs. Biker Mice from Mars versus Battletoads.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Wow. Really?
Y'all just acting
Really?
like
How do you-
y'all
Really?
acting like right
Wow.
side of thing.
Really?
You sound like Mugen, dude. That's
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
straight up
right.
Mugen. Like y'all acting like ownership rights are not a thing. It's
Go,
like
go watch some Salty Bet.
Right.
right.
Right. Who cares about?
I think that's part of the reason you couldn't do a new Def Jam though, because Def Jam Fight from New York had everybody
I
in
just
it.
picked up one of those. I don't
So,
remember which
at
one
this
it is,
point-
and I didn't log it yet.
Is it
You
just
know
that
what?
we wouldn't be able to believe the newer music artists as being hood
That
enough?
too.
Yeah.
I think
As being hood enough to
Definitely
be in the
that.
streets fighting?
It's
a
Yeah,
combination
yeah,
of
I can see that.
It's a combination of that and the fact that they're trying to make a new one will be a licensing nightmare, and they do not want to pony up that much money to
Cardi
use
B.
likeness in music.
Cardi
Like,
B
it's
as
just-
a fighter.
She would just drug
Yo,
you
I
and
was,
take your
oh,
money.
no, I kind of
she
want
would
that
be
now.
in
Dude, Def
She
Jam Fight
would
from
be
New York
in
had
there,
Carmen Electra in it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
they
Lil'
had
Kim.
people that weren't
So-
fighters. The game was still fun. The engine on that game was amazing.
Yes.
Oh, it was
SSX
the Aki-
Tricky
the Aki
Pink
engine.
Dolphin.
The Aki
Yes.
engine is still
I
the
second
GOAT.
that.
The Aki engine is still the GOAT. So, yeah.
Yeah, but Def Jam 3 Icon was, oh my god, that game was horrible.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I'm like, why did y'all? Because I bought that on day one because I thought it was just gonna be more of the
Well,
same.
they mailed
and
it in.
was
They,
just-
it was a cash grab.
they didn't
Yeah.
even mail it in.
Yeah.
I don't even think they finished. Like they didn't even finish putting the postage on that.
It's like,
thing.
hey,
That
it's
thing
Def
was
Jam. They'll buy it.
terrible.
It's Def Jam. They'll buy
That's-
it. No,
Yeah.
no, that's what it
how I
was.
felt.
Yeah, and then
That's
we
how I
right. Yeah,
felt.
yeah.
Like, it wasn't as bad, but that's how I felt when
Vendetta was the
NBA Street
first.
Volume 3
Yeah.
was.
Oh yeah,
And it's
Street.
like-
Yes, NBA Street too.
Because
Yeah, I
Street
picked-
Volume 3 wasn't the same.
I managed to
like,
get
in-
Fight for
in
New
my
York for
opinion.
$80, but that was with shipping and taxes and handling.
That's actually not too bad considering how much the game is
Thor
worth.
Nova get Kanye in there.
No,
No,
absolutely
no,
not.
man.
Absolutely, people will boycott that on day
yeah,
one,
man.
just off rip. Like,
Yeah,
no.
no, man. I couldn't see that.
Oh my
But
God.
anyway, going back to the question that was highlighted, it was
Yeah.
what's your favorite EA Sports big game? And both Garrett and I said the SSX Tricky.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
for me,
Tricky was
NBA
fun.
Street Volume 2, without question. Volume 2 NBA Street was just
I'm
so great.
I'm stuck between Volume 2 and Tricky though. Like it's so hard to choose between the two for me because
get it.
love both dearly.
No, I get it.
So it's like that's a tough one. But I will say one game that doesn't get enough love that I thought was really fun was Freak Style. I thought that was a
Oh.
really fun game.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Freak style. I remember that.
Fair enough.
I think I bought that recently, actually.
What about Trick Style?
Yeah.
Free.
NFL Street for
NFL
Dolphin.
Street, you know, I wanted to play that, but I don't think I did. And I don't know if it was because I was so much of a NFL Blitz fan that I just couldn't get with NFL Street if I couldn't do like what I could do in Blitz. Because the violence of Blitz is what made it good, in my opinion.
I actually seen people play that game recently. That game used to cheat like a mother.
Yeah, but that's what made it fun.
Which game?
That's why he's talking about Blitz. I know he's talking about.
Oh,
The
Blitz
computer
cheated.
always cheated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you heard what they did NBA Jam, right?
What?
Well,
What?
one of the programmers is from Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So whenever the Pistons will play the
Midway is in
Chicago.
Chicago, and
Yep.
he hated the Bulls, so he made it where if it was Detroit versus Chicago, and Chicago was like up or whatever, they would not hit any shots.
Yeah.
In the last few like
Yeah.
minutes of
And
the
it was,
game.
I think it was something
bro.
like Isaiah Thomas's layups could never be
Wow.
blocked, or
Yeah.
they would always
No,
go in, or something like that.
Chicago would not. Everything would not go in.
Well, no, but it was also that Isaiah Thomas's layups would always go in.
Will always go
something
in.
like
Well,
that,
He
yeah.
did something to
Yeah.
boost the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
Which-
want to
only
talk
against
about,
Chicago.
if you want to talk about cheap AI in Midway,
Uh-huh.
you go to the old Mortal Kombat
Oh,
games too.
oh my God!
They are right
Man.
outside
Yeah.
the door.
Can't
Oh my
sweep
God!
the CPU in Mortal Kombat.
No!
Can't jump
can't
at him
sweep
either, 'cause
them,
you-
Can't sweep
jump
them.
right
Can't
up-
throw them.
Nope.
Can't.
Those
No.
input reading pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Frame one grab.
Yeah.
Frame one grab.
Yeah.
I think Pete Dolphin highlighted a message as well back there somewhere. In there. The chat's
Um,
going by quick. I
Yeah, we
appreciate all
already
y'all.
talked
Oh, you
about
guys got
that
it.
one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Someone asked about Nuclear Instinct.
yeah. Haven't heard anything.
I don't
If
think one
only.
has been announced,
I
but
mean,
it
they-
would be nice if we got another one.
I was
I
shocked.
agree.
Hey, I was
Killer
shocked that we got
Instinct-
the one on Xbox One.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't expect
true.
that.
Yeah.
That one, because that was legitimately like, oh yeah, Killer Instinct. We still own that.
Yeah.
Let's do a new
Let's do
game.
another one. Yeah.
I hated the way
And
they
then
launched
start-
it.
Well, again, they started the games as a service thing that Capcom did with Street Fighter V. Now they didn't do it to the extent Killer Instinct.
They basically
did,
gave
thank
it to you
God.
for free. It
Yeah.
says if you want to
They
buy
were-
these other
Oh,
characters,
Rotate
yeah.
characters every week or
Oh,
something like that.
yeah.
oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Even though it's not highlighted, Hannah Omega says best worst fighting game villain. So
Ooh.
on the list of
As
worst,
far as just being bad or just hard to fight?
Monster!
hard to beat. On the list, Omega Rugal has got to be
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
He
Omega
nothing-
Rugal has
not
got
really.
to be on it.
the eternal champion from
Eternal
Eternal
champion, yeah,
Champion.
the Eternal
Champion.
He
champion,
was
yeah.
the hardest because
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you put his ass down.
Mhm.
He just kept getting back up, and if you lost,
So,
you
It was a game
couldn't
over.
Yeah, it's
continue.
game over.
Street
What-
Fighter 2 Akuma.
See, here's the thing.
so
The
to,
glass
Go ahead.
to,
Go ahead, Fallen.
to stick with the King of Fighters, KOF 2003 Ignis.
Okay, that's fair.
That's Buddy,
Dolphin
Buddy
says
that
Shao
looked
Kahn.
like
Oh,
Alucard with the whip.
I mean,
MK2 Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
see,
pretty cheap.
no. There's
Apocalypse?
an easy pattern to be MK2 Shao Kahn.
Mhm.
There is
That
a
is
No, there
very
is.
simple
Yeah, if you
pattern.
don't know the patterns.
No, there
Yeah.
is.
And I think that's
Third
the
strike,
I think that was the thing. All of us played so often. It was just like, yeah, I know this pattern. I got it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like Omega Rugal and Capcom SNK, whether it was him or Shin Akuma, it was just like, dude, I got y'all. I already know what you guys are going to do. Yes, it's annoying that you're basically ratio 5 characters, but you know.
Mhm. I ain't gonna front. When Gil first pulled out that resurrection in Street Fighter 3, you was just like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right.
Can't do
And the worst
that.
part is, you
And
you
they
know,
probably made him worse in 5.
Yeah.
oh no, absolutely. But like the first time you beat Gil, like you threw a fireball at him or something from across the screen.
Uh-huh.
So you're like, all right, cool,
You're
he's
like,
dead.
yeah, it's over.
It's like, wait,
Yeah.
the
You're like,
resurrection.
resurrection.
Right.
I was
And
like,
then you know, it's like,
fuck
then you
outta
try to get
here.
over there faster. It's like, nope, his bar's
Even
already
if you're
full.
Yeah.
close,
Yeah.
he's
Fuck
pushing
outta
you
here.
He's
away.
pushing you away, yeah.
So like,
I always thought that was sweet though.
Dural was pretty hard too,
yeah.
and that was another one.
Dural is always hard.
If you lost,
Tekken 5 Jinpachi, I think, should be on there too.
I hated
Yeah.
Jinpachi.
Jinpachi
He's
was
up
see
there,
once you got
but
used
no,
to him,
no.
Jinpachi was fun to fight.
I
to me.
got one better than that.
Uh-oh.
Alpha 152 DOA 4.
Well, nobody
Ooh.
plays DOA on purpurpose.
I was going to say, you
The
going to bring
Hand
up
of Omega
Tengu?
definitely
Not
does.
five.
Were we going to bring up
4.
Tengu as one of the worst bosses?
I don't think
Oh, no,
Tengu was.
Tengu had an easy
wasn't
pattern
bad.
too.
He
Yeah.
did. No, he did. But
No.
I'm just saying, initially when it was like, when he first came
He
out,
was
how cheap he
annoying.
was. He was annoying as hell.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
annoying.
Tengu was annoying as hell.
Annoying is different
But Alpha
than cheap.
152 was freaking ridiculous.
Well,
dude.
okay.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because she would disappear and teleport and do all that stuff as you got near her and stuff.
I
and then
was
her
just getting
combos
ready to
were
say,
long.
Mount Zulu BBC just brought up Alpha 3 Reverse Dramatic Battle Bison.
Oh, Bison is
he
all.
was bullshit.
Bison,
He was bullshit.
But he
Okay.
had a pattern.
Shin
He had a
Bison was
pattern that you
annoying.
could
Yeah,
do.
Shin Bison was crazy, bro.
but he had a pattern, like Fallen just said.
What about Shin Kuma
guys
Street
got
Fighter Alpha 2
seconds left.
Gold?
I was gonna say Tekken 2 Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
because
was
the
annoying.
laser. Because like you
Yeah.
Because of
the
that
laser,
laser,
you
you
couldn't
had
really
to down.
sidestep.
Couldn't block it.
Couldn't
Yeah.
throw him. He'd tech every single
Yes, he
throw
would.
in
Yeah.
frame 1.
That's true.
No.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show. Y'all didn't
Yeah,
buy
that's
an
time
extra
up.
life. You didn't put another quarter in. That's
So,
all right though.
I'm going to
Appreciate
bring
you.
this up again. So, show this off because, Garrett, you need to tell us about what is this?
The Grand Finals Gauntlet. So, like I mentioned earlier, we did in a collaborative event with Uncle Caps a gauntlet. I think like a year and a half or 2 years ago now, something like that.
Yeah.
And it went pretty well. It was like a month long. Each week was like a different tournament. Like we had one, and then Caps hosted one. We had one in Lansing, something like that. And it was a point-based system. And it worked out pretty well. And then since then, people have been like, when is there going to be a new gauntlet? When is there going to be a new gauntlet? I'm like, there's so much work that has to go into it. You know, I'll plan it here and there. And then one day I was like, all right, fine. You know, now's the time to plan this out. So basically, we're extending it now where it's like 3 months of events that we're doing in Livonia. We got the Grand Rapids tournaments on board. We got Kalamazoo's tournaments on board. We got Ann Arbor's tournaments on board. And pretty much any other tournament in the state that really wants to be a part of it, we'll let them in. And it's a point-based system.
Nice.
So each tournament, top 8 gets points. Some of the events are double points. So like the ones that are a little bit further away, like Kalamazoo or Grand Rapids, you'll get double points if you make the trip to go there. And so we'll have the top 5 people with the most points will qualify for the finale event, and then there will be a last chance qualifier. Whoever wins that gets the 6th slot. And then we rented out the historic Howell Theater to have the top 6 finale event, and people will fight for the opportunity to win, cash prizes. And then you can see the list of sponsors are all kind of donating their own thing, some merch, some money, some fight sticks, whatever they really want to throw at us. We're gonna give to the top 6 people. And there's some sponsors that haven't quite confirmed yet, so we're gonna keep adding to that as we go. So yeah, you see the Grand Rapids FGC, you'll see Kalamazoo FGC. Play Labs is a new eSports area that just opened in Farmington Hills that we're going to be hosting at. Takers is a brand new spot in Livonia that just opened up. The Howell Theater, Otaku Detroit's going to be throwing some figures and some merch in there. And then Tekken 7 and Guilty Gear will be starting. It started last weekend in Grand Rapids, and that will be going until the finale event on May 21st at Howell. And then the Blurred one may or may not be Street Fighter 6. It could be Dragon Ball Fighters. I don't know what that logo is quite yet. But that will be starting in the day it drops. We're planning on doing a Street Fighter 6 tournament on June 2nd, and that will continue till about September.
Unless you're playing extra time beta, everybody's gonna kind of be level playing field on that one.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right,
So
that's
we'll
cool.
have like a few hours before the tournament starts for people to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, then we're gonna be like, all right, it's tournament time. Good luck, and that's how we're gonna kick off that circuit.
That's cool.
That happened with me with Power Stone.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
So-
I never played Power Stone before, and it was in a tournament in Toronto, and it was just like, oh,
Yeah, so it's something exciting to kind of get that competitive drive going again, because a lot of people are kind of sick and tired of the same games that have been being played for 5 years. So people are like, I don't really feel like coming out. I'm kind of sick of the game. But no, with that competitive incentive, I think it's going to get more people out, and people are going to want to, be able to be in that top 6 or that top 3 or that top 1. Like, hey, I'm the best Tekken, Guilty Gear, Street Fighter 6 player in the state. You know,
Nice.
this is what proves it.
Nice.
So yeah, it's something that people have been asking about, and I've been wanting to do again. And so just expanding on it, what we did previously, has been a lot of work, but I think it's been worth it. And I think this Saturday, Kalamazoo is hosting their Gauntlet event. And so it's going to be kind of an every month. You know, Grand Rapids will have one. We're going to have one. Kalamazoo's going to have one. Ann Arbor's going to have one. So it's kind of like a continuous thing for the next 3 months. And then we're going to switch from doing Tekken and Guilty Gear to strictly Street Fighter 6 from June till September.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get some new people who have never come out, whether that's for Guilty Gear and Tekken or Street Fighter 6, and you know they make the top 6.
Get over here!
Some unknown person who's like, I'm gonna try fighting games out, and they get top 3 at one of the qualifiers, so they want to keep going just to see how many points they can get, and you know if they come out on top, that's even better.
That's cool. Rachel Renee Hagen just
good.
followed. Appreciate the follow. Also, last highlighted message was, what's your take on Man of Steel?
No, look, I wasn't going to allow that. We're outside of the time. We're outside of the
Hey,
time.
that's a fair question.
No, it's not.
Garrett is a guest in the house, and we need to know if he likes the Man of Steel movie.
Man.
Not entirely. I'm not. I'm very picky when it comes to the superhero movies. I like the ones that are unique.
is fair.
Like Into the Spider-Verse was one that I was like, okay, this is something different. I kind of got sick of the formula that it got to the point where the MCU movies kind of felt all the same to me.
Okay.
I don't understand that, but you know what? That's a show for another day.
Yeah, that's perfectly
show for
fine.
another
And you know, I went to film school. I'm a movie nerd, all that stuff.
So
it's
you know
like,
what?
So that
makes him a perfect guest then.
Yeah.
You know, honestly.
So like,
Flick
you know,
too hard, damn it!
everyone thinks I hate every movie, but I have to see it from a critical standpoint. I can't help myself. So.
That makes him
So
a
you
great
don't-
return
You
guest
don't
when
watch
we
it
start
for
doing stuff.
entertainment standpoint.
Right.
Some movies I know are gonna be trash, and I'm just like, all right, I want to be entertained for a little while.
Right.
I
So
look at all movies like that now. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I
and
used to do it to critical, but now
it's turning more into that for me, where it's
Yeah.
like, whatever,
It's-
I'm gonna go check it out.
It's
Yeah.
been like that for me ever since I learned how to edit. So it's like it's like
Well.
once I learned that, it's just been kind of like, you know.
Well, Fallen, you were also the person that didn't want to see Fast 9 because you got up to 8.
And I
you got up to 8 and somehow decided to decide to,
And
like, oh, this movie is this series is terrible.
You're never gonna
And
let
I
that
still wish I
go.
didn't.
That
I
is a
don't
good
care,
point.
and I will still stand on it that like I still wish that I didn't, because 9 was just stupid.
It was supposed to be.
That is a good
That was
point
the whole point.
that Hand Omega
Not-
brings up.
Not to
What
the
do you- what
point
is
where I have to lose
Entertainment
my
and
brain
critical
cells,
are
okay?
not mutually exclusive.
Right, and that's something that I'll get in an argument with people about is like a movie can be good. Like there's a good movie that is subjectively a good movie, and then there's an entertaining movie that is subjectively an entertaining movie. If it's entertaining, that doesn't make it good. People
Yeah,
often get those two
exactly.
confused.
And
And so that's where people think I hate everything.
Yeah.
Like
it could be
it
a bad
wasn't.
movie.
Yeah, this
entertaining.
movie was trash, but I was entertained the whole time.
Yeah.
So
So it's not good.
Yeah.
you're gonna come back and we're gonna have that debate.
Yeah.
You're
we
gonna
need
come
to
back
talk
and we're gonna have that
about
debate.
movies.
100%.
Definitely need to
Perfectly
get
fine.
You're gonna come back. We're gonna have that debate.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure though, for real.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it really has, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get out of here, we want to preview what's going to be on the show next week. Next week, we're going to have another in-studio guest, indie musician 904 Matcha, a person that I met at the influencer event at Replay Cafe. And he hit me up shortly after, said he wanted to come in and join the show. So we'll have him here in studio live right here next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on Culture Junkies Live. So want to thank Garrett one more time for joining the show today. We look forward to having you on again sometime in the future. We want to thank all of our new followers. Obviously, the people, your team members from Grand Finals Gaming, they travel very well because they filled the chat and they made it live. We hope that you all have enjoyed your time with us here on Culture Junkies Live, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week. So for my friends, the Great Dr. Kuji, Follow Marvel, and GQ, I'm Kishore. We'll see you guys next week. Hope you have a great one.
Take care, y'all.
Boy, everybody.
We gonna raid Amarak.
Hope you all stay entertained.
Goddamn cartoon.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
I'd love to.
I
try
do
some
have Star
basketball.
Gladiator hand, okay? Jeez. Come on
yeah,
now.
Star Gladiator.
It's for PlayStation 1.
No,
It
I
was made
remember,
by
but,
Capcom.
But that's the guy from Marvel Capcom 2 was in there.
Yeah.
What is it? Hayato.
yeah,
Hayato.
Hey, guess
Yeah,
what?
Hayato.
He's not live, so can't rate him if he's not live.
Can't rate him if he's not.
Can't rate him if he's not live.
Oh my god. Yum.
Right. So no, for real, you guys
I
have
may
been
have
great.
Plasma Sword.
Oh,
I
by
don't
the
know
way,
if
by
I
the
do.
way, you said
No, he
Nick
says he is
seems to
live.
think
He says he is live.
I don't